I talked about how finance is one of the things that motivates me, and I love talking with you about this topic. I think we all are becoming sustainable finance experts these days. And one of the things that we both are thinking about a lot right now specifically is project finance.
Mhm.
Getting the physical infrastructure up and running for the production of solutions like sustainable aviation fuel. And it's tough. Finance is a hurdle that we have to cross to
Mhm.
get this going. And because these solutions are so innovative, the financial structures themselves are innovated. We see things moving forward, but not at the scale that's required. So I have a fun question for you,
Okay.
which is if you were a benevolent dictator and you had a magic wand, what do you wish that you could see from the finance sector and perhaps policy adjacent to it if need be? What would you like to see from the finance sector that we're not seeing today to get the capital that's required?
Yeah, no, I mean, that is the question. That is the question right now. Um, if I could be pie in the sky kind of crazy right now, uh, what we actually need is a price on carbon. And I think that's
Mm.
probably the most efficient approach to unlocking capital that we would see economy wide. If I was a dictator, I don't know if I'd do that because it probably would hurt my pockets. But like, that's the point, is that you need to find a way to price an externality that we don't price. And I know there's
Mm.
lots of discussion spinning up in all pockets of the world about that. That being said, for sustainable aviation fuel, the disconnect right now is that from a project finance, infrastructure finance perspective, and yes, you're so right with your comment. We're becoming sustainable finance experts in real time. This is so not my background, but I find it really fascinating. To put shovels in the ground and to get net new production underway, we really need to sort of almost recalibrate on the expectation for hard to abate sectors specifically.
Hmm.
And why I say that is because a sustainable aviation fuel producer almost rarely, if ever, is able to hit the traditional criteria associated with project finance or infrastructure finance. You never, or not never, rarely do you have a proven management team, because this is a brand new space and a brand new market. Almost rarely do you have the operational data to show that you can continue operating for the 1,000+ continuous hours to turn out a product. There's lots of concerns around access to feedstock. So if you don't have the feedstock to go into the plant, you don't want a dormant asset. That doesn't work. So how do you make sure that that supply coming in is locked up with economics that you can carry for the duration that you plan to run that plant? And then, of course, on the demand side, I get asked all the time, and I'm certain you're going to ask me too, why can't I sign a 10-year offtake agreement for that fuel? And the answer is we would probably go bankrupt. So, what I mean by that is today, United purchases fuel on an annual basis. That is how we procure our fuel. If you want me to hedge and sign a 10-year term for fuel, which is ultimately what this is, we don't really have the balance sheet to carry the ups and downs associated with that market. We don't know what our competitors are doing. And in a 4% margin business, that exposure is way too much for us to carry and know that it's not going to have an enterprise wide impact on our ability to operate as a company. And so, like, it's really truly conversations at that level. And so the question becomes, is there a blended finance approach? Can we think of some kind of untraditional stacking of different finance product that allow us to share risk differently? B, can we share risk differently? So how do we think about stepping away from these traditional criteria such that, maybe there isn't as much of a guarantee on return for the investor? It's slightly less because this is high risk, and I know there's probably solutions out there for that. That's really important for us to understand. C, from a demand point of view, can we get creative and maybe a little scrappy in how we think about demand contracts, such that it gives the confidence to the investor so that they believe it's a bankable investment? I believe
Mhm.
there's some flexibility there that we're not accustomed to solutioning. But as I just mentioned, we're in the business of change management. We are in the business of asking those hard questions and putting those new paradigms forward. So yes, there's a different way that I think we can approach that. It's not going to happen overnight. And so finding that the policy is limiting in the United States and we need a longer duration. B, we need to give confidence and certainty to the investor community, not just on the duration, but the value. They don't like fluctuation. So some of these low carbon fuel
Mm-hmm.
standards, they're awesome. They are helping to start the market for sure. But the fluctuations that occur in the valuation, even with RFS, too much for the finance and the capital markets to handle. And so that is probably how I would characterize the conversation right now. It's we all know the outcome we want to achieve. What are different constructs that we can put together and test to allow us to get there? Which is why United stood up our Sustainable Flight Fund. We've got a fund where there's 22 investors across the value chain, including 4 other airlines, really trying to figure out where do we put our dollars in solutions that can help sort of build out this ecosystem so that we can have the solutions that can be scaled over time. That is really fundamentally why we're in that space. We also have a program called Eco Skies Alliance, and that's really sort of looking at that demand end of the equation. Is there a way that we can not just do annual purchase? Is there a way that we can use the power of our corporate travelers who really have been champions of wanting to invest in these solutions such that we can actually give the signal to the investment community and the project finance community that they're looking for? We haven't quite unlocked that yet, but there's sort of the makings of something amazing here. And we're going to figure it out together. We're all going to figure it out. And I'm really excited about that.
I love the way you're thinking about this, and I agree with everything that you've said on looking at blended finance solutions. One of the things that I've been saying is bankable offtake is also part of the capital stack. It's at the table very much. There have been some deals that have come forward where airlines' demand signals have really helped to get the deal done. And United is active in this, but as we've said before, we just need to see so much more of it.